Welcome to another episode of Whether or Not. This week we dive into Atlantic hurricane season with a feature from Travis Patterson, along with news on the widest tornado ever recorded to rancid meat and how many people enjoy the art of fishing in Pennsylvania. Also, Tom Bedard is in the studio with his forecast for the upcoming week. Stay tuned for all this, plus the trivia question, Whether or Not starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Christy Shields.
And I'm your forecaster, Tom Bedard.
Well, Tom, we've seen a pretty nice start to the month of June. We've seen pretty cool temperatures, nice sunny skies. Will that be in our forecast for this rest of the weekend?
Well, as for the weekend, it won't really be in the forecast. As we look towards next week, that's when the good news comes back in, at least if you've liked this weather the past couple of days. This weekend, and I'll touch on it more in a few moments, we're looking at some rain that has the potential, at the least, to be soaking, and at the worst, to see some small stream flooding. So, possible serious situation, but for now, we're kicking the sunny skies out and pushing some rain in.
Well, hopefully there won't be too much in the way of flooding, but for right now, it's time for Nature in the News. Tragedy struck again in Oklahoma this past Friday as severe weather ripped through the Midwest, causing tornadoes in multiple states. The tornado that caused an abundance of damage in El Reno, Oklahoma, was assessed by the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma. Their findings showed that the tornado was an EF5, which means it had winds in excess of 200 miles per hour, along with life-threatening damage. Not only was this an EF5, it was also analyzed and found to be the widest tornado ever recorded at 2.6 miles wide. The tornado was on the ground for approximately 40 minutes and had a path length of 16.2 miles. To put into perspective how wide this tornado actually was, at 2.6 miles, it is wider than Penn State University Park campus is long. The previous record was 2.5 miles wide, which was set on May 22, 2004 in Hallam, Nebraska. From this tornado and flooding caused by the storms Friday, Governor Mary Fallin declared a state of emergency in 41 counties. Recovery and search efforts continue from Friday evening storms impacts.
Along with breaking the record for the widest tornado, the El Reno storm claimed many lives, along with the rain and flooding that came along with it. Around 18 lives were claimed during the El Reno storm, just weeks after the Moore, Oklahoma tornado claimed 24. The El Reno tornado also took 3 storm chasers who are highly respected within the field of meteorology: Tim Samaras, his photographer son Paul Samaras, and Carl Young. The Samarases and Young were known for their extensive research on tornadoes, as well as being cautious storm chasers. They chased to find ways to improve warning systems and forecast tornadoes better as well. Tim Samaras' most famous research was on how he recorded the pressure drop from inside a tornado from one of his probes. The trio was a part of the research group TWISTEX, which stands for the Tactical Weather Instrumental Sampling of Tornadoes Experiment. To honor these courageous men, the tornado chasing community formed their initials from chaser beacons in 3 states. The research these men did will continue to help researchers understand tornadoes, and they will be missed by our entire weather community. Our condolences to the friends and family of these brave scientists.
The Alaskan town of Galena recently lost power after the Yukon River flooded. It brought unusual problems along with it, such as meat spoiling in many of the residents' freezers and refrigerators, which has caused bears to come into the small town. Not only are the bears causing problems, but the river took homes and washed out roads. Many residents were evacuated, and now all the spoiled meat is being replaced into the area of a dump to keep bears away from residents. The melting of the ice on the Yukon River happens every year as a transition of seasons. However, floating ice pieces can clog certain parts of the river, creating a natural dam, which then leads to flooding. This type of situation happened May 27, 2013. Officials are trying to tell residents to stay away until all the rancid meat is collected to keep bears from attacking the townspeople. Next, Tom will let us know if rain is in our near future here in Pennsylvania that could cause flooding in our own backyard.
Now it's that time of the show to take a look at the forecast for your weekend, and let's start everything off by taking a look at the weather pattern we expect to have on Friday. For the most part, we expect it to be a washout. A system of low pressure stationed south of the Pennsylvania area is going to allow tropical moisture to funnel to the east of it. So we'll be seeing moisture coming from the southwest, and this tropical moisture typically brings larger raindrops with it. So any drenching showers that we see are going to be gully washers at that. So be mindful of any small creek and stream flooding, as well as any flooding that might occur in your backyard. So remember the old saying, turn around and don't drown. We're going to see rain with a little bit of thunder mixing in, though expect this to be more of a shower than thunderstorm-based event. As we get towards Saturday, the beginning of the day isn't going to change that much from Friday. We'll see some rain showers through the area that are going to move out by the evening, or at least the most part, this widespread precipitation that we expect. By the evening, a front will be south of our area, so we'll expect to start seeing some conditions that might give way to us being drier. High pressure on the tail of this front is also going to allow cooler air to move into our area. Now, the front that did pass through us is going to become stationary south of us and allow moisture to still remain on parts of the east coast towards eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, some of New York City, and Maryland. That moisture may make its way towards State College for maybe an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, though don't bank on it or don't ruin your plans already if you're planning on going out on Sunday. Now let's get back to Friday one more time. Not a great day out there unless you want to water your garden. 72 degrees with scattered showers. So not all in all a great day. And getting into the overnight hours, still not fantastic. Though, mind you, maybe a great night to go out and see one of the new movies coming out. 64 degrees with more rain expected. As we get towards Saturday during the day, that rain might mix in with some thunder as that front moves through the area. So rain and thunder, 74 degrees. Now I say this is going to rain on Saturday, but we mentioned this not too long ago. It's going to rain and have maybe some thunder showers on the earlier part of Saturday. So as we get towards Saturday afternoon, expect things to start drying out. And by drying out, we'll have showers ending, so don't expect clear skies all around. A couple showers still sticking around the area. Still not getting too cool on Saturday night, 58 degrees. So not a fantastic night to go out stargazing. Sunday, however, won't be the best day of the weekend. Lingering showers around the area with that moisture that's located east of us, perhaps making its way towards State College. 80 degrees with a couple of lingering showers. So not a bad day to get outside and enjoy life. As Christy mentioned a little while ago, we do have the National Boating Week, and National Boating and Fishing Week, as well as the green drake mayfly making its way out to our Pennsylvania streams and rivers. So get outside and enjoy it. For now, let's take a look at the Weather Whiz Quiz.
The Atlantic hurricane season began this past Saturday, June 1st, and continues through November 30th. All coasts along the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico are at risk to catastrophic damage, though that damage can occur several hundred miles inland as well. So let's learn a little bit about hurricanes and the dangers they pose by visiting the newest addition to Weather or Not.
Welcome to the new virtual studio of Weather or Not. Let's get right to it and delve into some of the science behind hurricanes with 21st century animations. First off, what exactly is a hurricane? Well, a hurricane or tropical cyclone is a family of thunderstorms with counterclockwise rotating winds that form over tropical or subtropical waters. Once these winds reach 74 miles per hour, the system is deemed a hurricane or a typhoon, depending in which ocean that storm forms. Now, 74 miles per hour is the threshold for hurricanes, and I'm sure that you know the strength doesn't stop there. In fact, hurricanes are classified into 5 different categories based solely on the highest sustained wind speeds in the surface of a hurricane found in the center, also known as the eye of a hurricane. This is referred to as the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Intensity Scale. NOAA uses this scale to give the public an estimate of the potential flooding and damage to property that can be done by a hurricane. Starting with Category 1 with winds 74 to 95 miles per hour. At this strength, roof shingles can be blown off, tree limbs snapped, and power lines toppled. The speed of the wind increases as the hurricane strengthens from Category 1 all the way up to Category 5. Of course, the potential damage increases along with it. At Category 5 strength, with winds greater than 157 miles per hour, entire structures can be destroyed. Nearly all trees will be snapped or uprooted, and power outages could last for weeks. But this wind damage is not limited to the coast and can occur well inland before a hurricane even makes landfall. As this is the case, it's important to know where hurricanes form and in which direction they are headed. There are certain areas during each month of hurricane season which favor tropical development. During the month of June, the Gulf of Mexico, Western Caribbean, and the beautiful islands of the Bahamas are typically where hurricanes develop. As we go deeper into the season, that area stretches across the wide open Atlantic towards Africa. Also, as hurricane season churns about, the likelihood of seeing a storm increases with the highest percentage of named storms per month occurring in September, though destruction and devastation can occur all season long. As I mentioned earlier, it is officially hurricane season. NOAA recently released its hurricane outlook and predicts an active one ahead with 7 to 11 hurricanes, including up to 6 being Category 3 or higher. Preparation begins with you. Knowing your vulnerability and what actions you should take, you can reduce the effects of a hurricane disaster. Well, thanks for joining me in the new virtual studio of Weather or Not. Tom is back next with a recap of your weekend forecast and beyond.
Thanks, Travis. And the weekend weather doesn't look fantastic. It wasn't a great day on Thursday, and it won't be a great day on Friday, at least if you wanted nice weather to go outside in. It will be cool, 72 degrees on Friday, only getting a little bit warmer on Saturday. The center of the storm will move closer to us Saturday, and so some of the eastern parts of the county might see some thunderstorms, and maybe at College we'll see a blip of lightning or two. On Sunday, we'll warm up to 80 degrees with some showers and thunder showers lingering around the area, and that chance for precip will last into the early bit of next week as a front comes closer to and moves out of the area. So Monday and Tuesday will be warm with scattered thunderstorms that I expect to see in the afternoon. On Wednesday, we'll begin to see the entrance of a cooler air mass with higher pressure associated with it. That high pressure will shift our winds to bring that cooler air mass overhead, which will allow our temperature to dip below average Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Clear skies or mostly sunny skies expected for that term. So the end of next week looks fantastic. The beginning might be a little wet, but it's going to be a sharp contrast to the weather we'll see this weekend.
Well, Tom, by the looks of your forecast, it's going to be a pretty wet and soggy weekend here in Pennsylvania.
Which is something we've needed. We've been pretty dry. A lot of you gardeners have been complaining about having soil that's not as easy to work with. And so it'll be a really good weekend to get that rain, though the moisture, interestingly enough, coming from the rain is going to be more concentrated on the eastern part of the state because it's coming along the coastline. It's tropical moisture. So the western part of the state won't see as heavy of rainfall, at least that's what my forecast will say, as the eastern part of the state will.
Well, that brings us to our Weather Whiz Quiz, which is about the Atlantic hurricane season. Our quiz states, what is the first name that will be used during the 2013 Atlantic hurricane season? A, Ashley, B, Aaron, C, Andrea, or D, Amanda? And the answer is C, Andrea.
Oh, that's interesting. Though thankfully, we're not looking at the possibility this weekend of seeing a named storm, especially not associated with the system that will be striking the East Coast. Heavy rainfall definitely, and the National Weather Service has made the mention that we will see some thunderstorms. So at least keep posted to however you get your weather warnings. It's a text message, email, or on the news, just in case there is severe weather that's forecasted for your area.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's show. Make sure you stay tuned next week to see what we have in store for that one. But for now, I'm Christy Shields, your host.
And I'm your forecaster, Tom Bedard. We'll see you next time.
Bye.